Right, Bleeding Cool at New York Comic Con. I have with me Mac Walters, the lead writer of Mass Effect 3 and who had also written for both Mass Effect 1 and 2, and who is currently the writer of the Mass Effect comic book. So, Mac, I'd like to talk to you about how the current Mass Effect series came about, since it goes back through the history of the Mass Effect series with using a character as a bridge to look at the story. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, we were in development with the Citadel DLC. We knew that was coming up, and at the same time we were talking to Dark Horse about doing another series with them. And at the time we were saying, the Homeworld series that we had done seemed to be quite popular. People really liked the idea of us going, sort of each issue looking at one of the major characters in the Mass Effect universe. And we considered doing that. My only concern was, should it be tied together with some sort of thread? Should there sort of be something in there that kind of weaves them all together? And then we sort of, at the time, had this idea of, well, we know Cerberus is up to something. Is there a character who could, maybe works for Cerberus that could tie them all together? At the same time, we also knew that we had this character in the Citadel DLC, the Brooks character, and we thought, what, let's tie those two together and tell a story there. So I think what we've always found that the comics work best when they are actually tied to something that's going on in the games themselves. And so we wanted to sort of have that thread, even if it was just a bare thread, to be able to do that. And so then the idea for the Foundation series really came together. We have the Razik character, who, you find out later, is also this character in the Citadel DLC. And it's just telling her story at the start, but then using her to sort of weave a thread about why we would be learning about Rex, or why we would be learning about Ashley or Kate or any of these other characters.
So, how does it feel to be writing an actual linear comic book rather than a game? How do you feel about the differences? Does it make it simpler, a little less stressful?
I'd say it's not less stressful because even though I've been doing comics now for 4 years, I guess, I always want to live up to the standards of Dark Horse and what they do. I love the stuff that they do, and so I put a lot of pressure probably on myself to make sure that it's as good as possible. So it's still just as stressful. However, it's definitely taps into different things. It's a lot more freeing, I guess is the word I would say, when you can tell a single linear story as opposed to the branching narrative that we do. There's still a lot of challenges, of course, because we just want to try to keep it within canon. We don't want to step on anyone's toes about choices that they could have made in the game. So you can't really refer to Shepard that much. You certainly, when you show them, you have to show them in a way where it's just like, that could be a guy, it could be a girl, it could be anything. So we have all those challenges. But then there's also a lot of fun being able to explore characters. Like I said, like we've done a lot with Liara in the past, James, Garrus. It's a lot of fun to be able to go in and just sort of, not necessarily from Shepard's point of view, but just from the point of view of the story that we want to tell, explore those characters. And so for me, I think that's the most fun that I have with it. I love character-based storytelling. I think that's what I love most about our own games, is all these amazing characters that we have. And so to be able to explore that with the comics it's a lot of fun.
And in an interesting way, you've also become the gatekeeper of Mass Effect for the time being during the hiatus when there's no new game coming out just yet. So, and I want to talk a little bit about your reaction to the ending of Mass Effect 3, because I don't think in the world of gaming there has ever been this kind of outcry or this kind of hysterically angry reactions to an ending that people just seem to object to so much.
Yeah, I think, it was definitely unexpected. We would never write anything that would intentionally, cause, some of our fans to, dislike the ending or the way that the game went. I also know that, it's difficult because I have so many people, especially at the cons. The cons are when you get to talk to people face to face, and there's no sense of, anonymity with the internet or anything like that. And so I'll get people who come up and be honest and say, man, it kind of broke my heart with the ending, but I understand why you did it. But then I also get the people who come up and go, I love the ending. I thought it was great. I understood why Shepard needed to die. That made sense. I think, one of the biggest lessons learned is that when you're dealing with a character where we've given you so much choice over deciding who you are, how you're going to behave, even just the the way you're going to look. And then we take something as fundamental as whether you live or die, and take control away from the player for that. In conjunction with some of the other things that came up, people wanted more answers. They wanted a little bit more closure. But I think we greatly underestimated just how some people would react to that. And we did our best. We got a lot of really good constructive feedback and ideas from the fans, and we took a lot of that. We put it into the extended cuts just to make sure that we were helping those people out and giving them what they had been expecting and what they wanted. But yeah, it is what it is. It's been out now. What is it? It's been almost 2 years now since that happened. And lessons learned, and we move forward as best we can.
So I'm assuming that you're on the writing team of the next Mass Effect game as well.
Currently, I am. The Mass Effect team right now is based out of Montreal,
right?
And they're trying to build up sort of to have a stable of writers. Like on Mass Effect 3, we had myself plus 8 other writers and several editors working on that project by the end. And so right now the team there is quite small. So I'm just trying to help out in the start. Also working with the leads there and the project director very closely, as well as the sort of what we call the franchise leads back in Edmonton to develop at least the core of the story, so that we have we know where it's going to be, where it takes place, what the basic premise is for the main character, the main protagonist, what they'll be facing, and just some of the core concepts of where that'll be, and then really letting the team there run with it and go with it and make it what they're going to make it.
Great, Mac Walters, thank you very much.
Thank you.